I see who the real narcissists are. It's us women! I made a video saying I don't never believe the women first until I hear both sides. Everybody in the comments was like, oh yeah, it's giving pick me, it's giving men pick me. And then this lady, she posted a video because she was in the gym and the guy was like, I just commend you for wearing a full skirt, you know, like I don't see it a lot lately. And somebody else was like, it's giving male validation. You women are the wolf in sheep's clothing. Oh my God, it's so clear. Women try to portray this image that men are just horrible people when in reality, it's us.
He tried to commit paternity fraud and went down in flames. We've got a video for you here today from the Modern King. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get into it.
And she says, the only reason you got me is because I was recently divorced, scared, and I had a kid. Can you sit down on the couch for a second? Sits down and said, we're done. We're getting a divorce. And she tried everything. She begged. All right, y'all. So do you side with a man or woman in the case I'm about to present here? Okay. I'm actually going to side with the man on it, but I'd like to hear what you have to say. So this man and this woman, husband and wife, they're having a party. They've been married for a couple years, and the guy's stepkid, her kid, you know, is there at the party. Everybody's having a good time or whatever. And he's giving relationship advice to some of their friends. And she comes over and says, don't take relationship advice from him. And he thinks she's playing around and says, well, it got me you, didn't it? And he gives her a kiss or whatever. And she says, the only reason you got me is because I was recently divorced, scared, and I had a kid. And basically, he was a safe choice.
Up to that moment, that guy thought his marriage was going well, but then his wife had to emotionally gut punch him by saying that she was just using him. That level of emasculation in front of his friends is totally out of line, and he should leave her then and there, in my opinion.
And he goes silent, right? And I mean, I don't know. That would be so freaking devastating, okay? But a couple days later, she realizes how silent and how affected he is, and she tries apologizing. He said, I'll be okay. And then like 2 weeks later, she's starting to get into panic because he will not talk to her. He won't do anything. She starts cooking his favorite foods, trying to do all the things that he likes, even goes so far as to have their kids go stay at her parents' house, or his stepkid and her kid go stay at the parents' house. And then she takes him somewhere that was important to them, and they go stay a couple nights there.
In other words, she's trying to buy his forgiveness and thinks cooking and vacations will make him forget the absolute humiliation she put him through. It doesn't work that way. The second you disrespect a man like that, there's no going back, no matter how nice you pretend to be.
And then when they come back, he goes to work for a couple days. He comes back. As soon as he walks in the door, he said, can you sit down on the couch for a second? Sits down and said, we're done. We're getting a divorce. And she tried everything. She begged him not to go. She said, I love you now. I'm so sorry. Blah, blah, blah. I actually side with the guy on this, and I'm not trying to be mean. I understand everybody's situation would be different, but the fact of the matter is, and a lot of people are going to say, no, you work harder on a marriage. To me, that contract's null and void because she did not love him when she got into the relationship. Okay. She saw safety. She was panicked after her recent divorce, being a stay-at-home mom with a single kid. So she latched onto the first guy she didn't even love because he had money and could provide safety. And that's what she did, and admitted that's what she did. And so when he found out, he's like, oh, you don't love me? I don't want you then. Do you agree with this guy for divorcing her? She said she admitted she didn't love him. She just chose him for safety. And to me, that would be about the only more devastating thing a woman could do is love me and then cheat on me, which to me means she never really loved me in the first place. But let me know what your thoughts are. I would definitely side with the guy on this, but I understand everybody's got their own opinion.
The only reason she was begging was because she wanted his money and the house where they were living. It had nothing to do with love or respect. She just grew comfortable with her new life and didn't want to lose it, even though that's what she deserves.
Men cannot accept that women are single by choice because most men are not single by choice.
What type of men exactly are they talking to? Because most of the guys that I know that are single are happily so.
And I'm sure I'll have many men in the comments being like, I'm single by choice. No, you're not.
Why? Because it's inconceivable to some that a lot of men's standards are too high to date a lot of the women that they meet out there?
Most women are single by choice because getting a man is the absolute easiest thing to get.
Any woman can get with a man for a night, a few days, even a few months, but bedroom fun only goes so far. Keeping that man is borderline impossible for women like this because they straight up despise men simply because men had the nerve to be born.
I wonder if they know that getting a man and then keeping a man are two different things.
Men don't want to believe that, but guess what? Y'all are easy.
I've often found that it takes experts in those particular matters to recognize it in others.
On the other side of the coin, women are mostly difficult to get, okay? And especially now in 2025, women have standards that most men do not ever plan on reaching. And if they do, it is usually a temporary fix until the mask falls.
That might have something to do with the fact that almost every woman out there considers herself to be a 10 out of 10 and expects their man to also be a 10 out of 10. Quite frankly, a lot of women have unrealistic expectations.
It's not that women are difficult to get, it's more like they're difficult to want for a lot of men. Men take a look at women like this and realize that staying single is a lot easier and better than having to deal with her and her needless entitlement.
County man claims a major triumph in his 3-year quest to protect men from paying child support for children they didn't father. Last year, he helped change Georgia law, and today his work was put to the test with his own future on the line. Fox 5's Lisa Crane has the story.
Okay, the first case is Tony Odom versus Carnell Smith.
But it was a case that didn't make it into open court. After years of fighting, a judge today ruled Carnell Smith was not responsible to pay child support to a child he did not father.
If a man is tricked into thinking that he's the father of another man's child, that man should be under no obligation to pay any form of child support. This shouldn't even be an issue, let alone have to be fought for 3 years in the court system.
Almost 3 years ago, a DNA test proved that the then 11-year-old girl he had thought was his own was not his child. But in Georgia, that didn't mean the end of his own obligation to financially support that child. Smith turned his case into a crusade and helped shape paternity fraud legislation that passed last year. Today, his case was the first to test the new law, and in chambers, the judge terminated his parental rights and obligations.
I feel this is a major victory for defrauded victims everywhere.
It makes no sense how there are states out there who have laws on the books that protect mothers who cheat on their husbands, and the husbands get punished by saying that he has no choice but to pay child support while the mother gets off scot-free.
There were a lot of people watching this case, like Reverend Randall Robinson. Through DNA testing, he discovered that some of the children he had always thought were his own weren't.
In a previous marriage, and 2 out of the 3 children are not mine. At that time, I still was ordered by the court to pay child support.
And this is the first real test of this new legislation, but it appears right now that even after a man proves he is not the biological father, he must still come to court to end his child support obligation.
It's absolutely absurd that he needs to still go to court to have the child support payments lifted. That man did absolutely nothing wrong, but the courts will still say that he needs to suffer the consequences of a wife who was clearly unfaithful to him. There are so many women out there who take MMA classes and they think that gives them the tools they need to take on a man who's twice her size in unarmed combat. That kind of thinking is not only foolish, it's actually just incredibly dangerous for the women.
Men are so superficial.
Would you date a guy that's shorter than you?
Absolutely not. I'd at least 6'2".
At least 6'2"?
Yeah.
How tall are you?
5'5".
5'5".
Yeah.
So 6'2".
Well, 5'6", 5'5".
6'2"
yeah.
bare minimum.
Yeah, I just like tall dudes.
I mean, it must have been within 5 seconds that she said, men are so superficial. Next words out of her mouth, oh yeah, I wouldn't date a man under 6'2". I mean, is there any self-awareness? Like, any at all?
There is no self-awareness because a lot of these modern women have grown up in a time where they can do nothing wrong. And they are taught that they are special for everything they do, and that entitles them to absurd double standards because it's always different when they do it, apparently.
Women who have not yet reconciled inside themselves that they are every bit as superficial and shallow as men, and they focus on appearances just as much, those women are in for a rude awakening, because that self-image that they have as this morally superior being who doesn't care about looks, that's not gonna last. It can't. It's delusional. It doesn't exist in reality. They don't deserve that positive reputation. It's fake. They have no right to feel so smug. They are just as superficial, arguably more so. But I'm arguing that that's actually where the anger comes from. She's not annoyed that people might see her weight. She didn't stand on the scale in any case. What pisses her off is that her self-image has been threatened.
Women like that can't stand the idea of not being seen as flawless in every possible way, and the second it's pointed out, she lashes out and thinks that's somehow an attack on her character. And when you consider the egos that these women have, it's not surprising that they lash out the way they do.
That with these questions, she now has to confront the fact that she's every bit as superficial as she's always claimed men are. And women don't want to give up the feeling of superiority that they have. That's like half of their self-esteem right there, is just feeling like they're better than men. She wants to be able to say, I don't date men under 6 foot, while simultaneously saying all men are pigs, they only care about looks. Sorry, no more. You can't have it both ways. And I hope it's clear that what I'm taking issue with is not the preference, it's the hypocrisy. I'm not going to sit here and shame women for not wanting to date short guys.
We can all agree that there's nothing wrong with having preferences, even if those preferences are insanely hypocritical and do nothing to serve them in the long run. But at the same time, you can't bash men for not being perfect while claiming that you are as well. It doesn't work that way.
What I'm saying is that if you're going to allow yourself to have dating standards based on appearances, then you need to let men do the same. If you won't date a guy because he's short, then men shouldn't date a woman because she's fat. You're both making decisions based on appearances. Either both of you are shallow or neither of you are.
It's funny to see overweight women talk about how they feel like they deserve a rich, well-built man, but will get disgusted with the mere idea of getting with an overweight man. They refuse to see the offensive double standards that they want for themselves.
You're a liar. Get out. I'm getting my lawyer involved.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a list of red flags, quote unquote. And all you have to do is just tell me if they're a red flag or if they're not a red flag.
Okay.
Okay. First one. Says, I don't care where we eat, but then proceeds to say to no to every suggestion.
Not a red flag.
Okay. Fourth one. Has at least 100 plus unread texts, but replies instantly when it's about drama.
Not red flag.
6. Has more than 5 bodies.
Red flag.
I don't know if this is like question 6 or 7, but is following a lot of guys.
Red.
Women like this can't help but tell on themselves when it comes to their relationship drama. She's clearly giving herself a pass for all of the nasty behavior in her relationship and thinks that her boyfriend is just going to accept it because that's what boyfriends are supposed to do.
Next one. Still has dating apps installed on their phone.
Obviously, that's a red flag.
Has been cheating on you for a few months now.
Obviously, a red flag. You're cheating. Yeah.
Last one. Dyes their hair red.
Are you? Is this like an at me or something?
Oh, can you explain this?
What is this? I thought we were playing a game.
You know, this is just your Tinder profile.
Play your game, Mark. Do not post this anywhere.
Oh, I am.
I will get lawyers involved. You know.
How do these women think they're going to get away with hiding a Tinder profile from their boyfriends? Word is eventually going to get out, and there isn't a lawyer who'd be able to help them after they screw up that badly. But anyway, guys, we are going to be leaving today's episode there. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Click this video that's up on the screen now if you want to see more. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.